And would you be comfortable maybe showing us what maybe Lucy looks like? Maybe drawing Lucy for us, and maybe I was just thinking about this. Could you draw Lucy and Leia side by side so people can see
Sure.
the
Sure.
difference?
Yeah, I'll try. Let's see here if I can rearrange things.
All right. Oh, that'll be great. Yep,
So,
we can see the board perfectly.
yeah, now the question is, can I draw at this angle?
This is where the professionalism comes through.
Here, let me see. I'm gonna actually get a bigger pen.
All right. It's good too because we're getting a good view of your what I assume
Yeah,
to be your
so
office and studio.
yeah, so this is my little studio. Um, I don't. I usually work just on a lap board.
Hmm.
The Lucy and Andy pages and the Jedi Academy pages were just drawn on just Bristol. Um,
That size?
this size. So I usually draw at print size or thereabouts.
Hmm.
So the Darth Vader books are actually drawn a little bit smaller than print size. Um,
Wow.
and I think one of the reasons I like that is I think there's an important relationship to the reading experience of what how big something is to in relationship to you as a reader. And um, so the Darth Vader books are a very particular size, and I wanted to be able to know what that was as I was drawing it, as opposed to drawing something like traditionally comics are drawn really big and then shrunk down. And um, but I just like to be able to see it at size as I'm working on it.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
um, yeah, so I'll draw. Leia just has. Oh wait, hold on. I'm going to start over
It's okay.
because that's not how I start drawing Leia. Leia always starts um, with one of her buns,
Don't we all?
and then
It's always interesting to see how characters that we look at all the time, they can be simplified down to certain shapes.
yeah, yeah. And so I'll do an extra little some extra little Star Wars here, but Leia. So Luke has the same head shape because
Oh,
they're twins, of
of
course.
course, yeah.
Um, and Luke's the way I draw Luke actually comes from how I draw my son Oscar. Although now he's 9, so I can't really draw him as young looking. But Oscar is basically the same as Luke. I don't know if this is coming out, hopefully, um, but with a different, slightly different, less 70s hairstyle. Oh, Luke and Oscar are just they're just looking progressively less and less happy. Um, and then so for Lucy and Andy, so um, one of the things about the Neanderthals is they did have some physiological differences, and um, one of the advantages to comics is you can kind of take advantage of how comics play with reality. So an example in Star Wars is Darth Vader's helmet is static, it doesn't really move,
Right.
but I can use his helmet to make him have various expressions. So here he's kind of angry, but I can change his helmet to make him sad or confused. I don't. That's cross-eyed, I guess. it, um,
I think the sad and confused Vader is
yeah,
what we see
yeah. So
what's left of his helmet in The Force Awakens.
yeah, that's very. He's very confused at that point. Um, and so with Lucy and Andy, one of the things about Neanderthals is they don't really have chins. So Lucy and Andy's chins always kind of go like that.
I'd
And
just like to say my grandmother didn't have a chin either.
well,
What does that say? Never mind.
well, we do all. Most of us have some Neanderthal DNA. So
There she is.
I
What holds her ponytail in place, by the way?
well,
Sorry.
I think it's a suspension of disbelief holds it.
Oh, that's what holds it in
So
place.
no, um,
Oh, that's
you know,
good.
there's so I do try to make the books as factually accurate as possible, but I also try to play with things a little. But they did have string either you know, so these books are taking place 40,000 years ago, and um, that's I think maybe 50,000 years ago is when they have the first evidence of plant fibers being twisted together to make a kind of string. And then it's also theorized that they would use animal ligaments, would also make strings. So she might just have some, mammoth intestines
Okay.
tied around
I was
there,
just making a joke.
something.
You didn't have to get all scientific, but thank you. That was
It's
good.
all it's they go together.
Yeah.
They go together, Lucy and Andy. Another place that I fiddle with things. So I do have this is perhaps the most inaccurate thing in the book on many levels. Um, so pet cats didn't exist 40,000 years ago. We didn't have domesticated cats until
The
I think
Flintstones.
6,000 years ago or something.
Well, not until the
Um,
Flintstones, anyway.
but Lucy and Andy have a pet cat named Tiny, who is a scimitar cat. So
Uh,
he's got the little scimitar teeth, and he's also really tiny. He's the size of a house cat, even though scimitar cats um, were much bigger.
hmm.
So, um, but I do have a little section in the back of the book where I kind of explain some of the things that some things that you might think that I just made up for purposes of the story, but are actually true, and then other things that I did make up just because, like, I just wanted to have a little more fun drawing. So
Well, a lot of people will think that you made up the fact that anything happened 40,000 years ago when the Earth didn't exist then. So
yeah, that's a whole nother book
that's
series.
going to cost you a whole
Yeah.
audience right there. So the cat, but the cat is not in the Comic Squad story, though, right? I don't.
Um,
I don't
I,
remember seeing the cat.
he shows up in like a couple panels.
Okay, but he's not real prominent in the story.
No, no.
All right, then I apologize that I missed it, but I wasn't looking for it either at the time. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's very cool. Thank you for sharing that.